So it happened. Bitcoin saw a massive dump and the rest of the crypto market is really suffering. Almost every single support level that was previously holding well has broken and the charts are simply not looking great. We cannot ignore this anymore. In today's video, we're going to be going over exactly what you need to know to be able to survive in this market and even thrive when things become bullish. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Let's jump right into the video. I can't lie, it sucks to be right when things go bearish. We've been talking about this on the channel for quite a while now, that we would eventually break this support level if Bitcoin saw another retest. And the reason being is because when Bitcoin retests these key levels over and over and over again, it cannot always hold. We can see that this level down here around 91.7K has been retested 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and today was the 9th time. Did we really think we were going to bounce here? No, unfortunately not. But where did this all start? Well, first of all, it was very clear that after making a new high right around $109,000, when Bitcoin came crashing right back down, the key level to really try and hold that support was $106,000 that we discussed in January. Now, why, you may ask? Well, the daily candle closed right there. And the wicks we don't really count when it comes to looking at where Bitcoin could be headed next. So after 106K was acting as heavy resistance for Bitcoin, the next key level to watch was 102.5K. The same outcome there. Then we had arguably one of the most important milestones, not just on the chart, but on a psychological level, which was 100K Bitcoin. As soon as 100K started to fail to hold as support, that is when I really turned bearish and we started talking about shorting more than longing on the channel. Of course, there's always going to be fluctuations and you can't just go straight down, but overall, I have been relatively bearish, especially since we broke that 100K level. Now, what can happen next? Well, a few videos ago, we also talked about the worst case scenario, in my opinion, for the bull market to still be intact for Bitcoin, and that is all the way down here to around the 73K level. But if we look at the price of Bitcoin right now, since breaking this very important level, the next key area of support, which we've actually already tapped into on the 4-hour time frame, is the 86.6K level. Now, we bounced from here, but currently at the time of recording this video, we are back at $87,000, and it is not looking promising for Bitcoin. Now, why did I say that 73K was an important level to consider? And why do I think that we can go that low while still having the bull market intact? Well, first of all, what we can see here is that there's essentially nothing but air since we broke out from this level, which would suggest that we can break down just as fast as we broke up. Now, naturally, this won't just happen in a straight line. There will be chops along the way. But my thought here is that if we can't hold this 86.6K level as support, the next level will start with a 70K for Bitcoin. Now, it is possible that we can range around this level, so it is something that you should be considering. Perhaps we bounce here a little bit longer, but as long as we get that confirmation below this key level at around 91.8K, which it appears like we will be getting, it wouldn't be looking good for Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market. Now, later in this video, I will be talking about exactly why you shouldn't be concerned and that this is actually normal in a bull market. But if we move on to some other charts, why did Bitcoin dump? Well, one of them is indeed because of the stock market. Guys, I know a lot of crypto influencers always talk about the fact that Bitcoin and the crypto market is completely decoupling away from the traditional stock market, but it's just not the case. If stocks are having a significantly red day, so will Bitcoin and so will the rest of the crypto market. And what we can see here if we look at the chart is that we're looking to tap into the bull market support band for the S&P 500. Now, if this holds, it would be solid and we would likely see a nice bounce from stocks, and naturally this would roll over into crypto as well. But if we are to break below this level, it will not be good for neither stocks nor crypto. And bear with me here, no pun intended, but we just need to get through all of these charts before I can talk about the light at the end of the tunnel. Solana has completely capitulated. We talked about it in yesterday's video. Since $190,000, we saw massive capitulation, likely to do with how frothy the meme coin market has been, the amount of rug pulls that have been going on, but also the broader market just not looking as positive as it once did. Now, right now, I've highlighted an important box right around $120 to $140 for Solana. This could be a very important level to hold as support, and I would honestly be very surprised if we just slice right through this like butter. I don't think this will be the case. If we break down here, I mean, I don't have to tell you, that would be horrific for Solana, and it would be horrific for meme coins that are on the Solana chain. We can't ignore that fact, but it's just a repercussion of Solana at these levels and how the meme coins have continuously dominated the space up until now. Look, we talked about this a lot. We can't just have billion-dollar meme coins in this industry without any kind of repercussions down the line. And right now, I believe that we are indeed seeing the repercussions for the Solana ecosystem. And another chart, Bitcoin dominance. I won't go over this one too much, but as we can see, a very green weekly candle thus far. And I still think that we will be filling this wick and setting a new high for Bitcoin dominance. Not a lot of people believed me when we were talking about this all the way at these levels when we broke down. I remember everyone was super bullish, saying that it would be altcoin season. But with monetary policy as is, I was simply not convinced, and I was pretty sure that we would at least give an attempt to break this high. Now, once we broke it, once again, everyone on crypto Twitter just gets super bullish and says that we will have a reversal. This is the wick that marks the reversal. Clearly not. Bitcoin dominance continues to go up, whether the price of Bitcoin goes up or down. And another little unfortunate one that I need to share with you. You know we've been monitoring ETH against Bitcoin for such a long time. And after this huge capitulation wick, I was hoping that we could go ahead and reclaim the 0.03 level. People were very bullish. Once again, we need to reclaim these key levels if we are to move higher. And unfortunately, we didn't even make it at 0.03 before we see a little bit of a breakdown. We're trying to hold it currently, but we cannot neglect the charts, and for now, we have broken down again. And it's very much the same case for other charts in the crypto space, such as the total crypto market cap. We broke a pretty important level, which was around the $3 trillion mark, which was actually the high set in the previous bull market. We are now below that high. Now, the next area of support that I would be looking at would be right around here. I've drawn out another little box here, around $2.4 trillion, all the way up to around $2.7 trillion. Now, we haven't quite made it in this box yet, but we can see that we set a couple of highs in the past, and it would surprise me if this doesn't at least hold us support temporarily. And looking at the cryptos outside of the top 10, we can see once again that we are in another big area of support. We broke down from the $320 billion level, which was again another key milestone. It's very much the same case. We've held this level of support previously, and so I would anticipate that we will slow down the downwards movement in this range before things can really pick back up again in the crypto market. And just a little bit of a note on altcoins. Personally, I am still favoring shorts on select altcoins, and so if you'd like to trade the markets, make sure to click the first link in my description down below. It brings you directly to weeks, and you can take advantage of the market even when we're in a downtrend, because you're able to short the market on weeks and collect some stable coins over time, so you can go ahead and reaccumulate on these dips. Make sure to sign up. It's the first link in my description down below. We also have to talk about the Bitcoin spot ETFs. What do you see here? A sea of red. Since February 6th, we've only had 2 positive inflow days out of all of these days. Now, yesterday was one of the largest Bitcoin sell-offs from the spot ETFs that we've seen in history, marking a $500 million sell-off from the spot ETFs alone in one day. Then if we take a look at Ethereum, it's looking a little bit less bleak, which is also coinciding with ETH Bitcoin not dumping as hard as everything else that we've been looking at. But we still saw an $80 million outflow across the Ethereum spot ETFs, so this is something that you need to consider as well. It's not just Bitcoin. And do I need to tell you more? Once again, we're seeing some of the largest liquidations in history. $1.5 billion liquidated from the crypto market within the past 24 hours. That is insane. So guys, I hope that you're trading carefully in these markets. Even if you are shorting the market, as I've been doing, you need to be cautious because we can see some surprise bounces that really shake you out of your positions. Make sure you're managing your risk accordingly. And again, if you'd like to trade, make sure to click the first link in my description down below where you can sign up to Weeks, one of the top exchanges in the crypto industry, and I've been using them for a very long time. And it looks like some things actually do play out. CZ putting out this tweet back in 2020. Waiting for the new headline, Bitcoin crashes from $101,000 to $85,000. This exemplifies two things. One of them, Bitcoin hasn't even dumped that much from the highs, and we'll take a look at the other bull markets shortly. But two, this also shows with all of the panic on the feed that unfortunately most of crypto Twitter's portfolio is not allocated in Bitcoin, which, guys, that's the number one rule of crypto. Most of your portfolio should be in Bitcoin because it minimizes your downside risk while giving you most of the upside. I hate to remind you of this again on such a red day where we're seeing Bitcoin dump and the rest of the altcoin market suffering even more, but that's just the reality of things. If your portfolio isn't mostly in Bitcoin, maybe this is the time to learn from this mistake. Now, I'm not talking like I'm some kind of guru here because I've made the same mistake in the previous bull market when I saw that Bitcoin was ripping and we didn't get that altcoin season yet. Then when Bitcoin started dumping, altcoins dumped even more, and I suffered greatly in that previous bull market. Hopefully you take this information and know what to do next time. Okay, so now that we covered that, let's take a look at 3 more positive Bitcoin charts to end the video and give a little bit of hopium because this is ridiculous. It's so bearish, and I hate to be the one to share bearish stuff with you, but that's just what the charts are telling us. This is the first one, which I would say is relatively positive. While you're scared, whales have just bought $2.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, as we can see on chain. So when whales really start to accumulate, it means that they're starting to position themselves for the next leg higher, which I will remind you, I am a firm believer that we will have a next leg higher. Everyone's super bearish at these levels, and it's perfectly normal to freak out. Despite me even saying that we could go lower, the bull market is still intact, in my honest opinion. The other chart I wanted to show you is exactly what we were discussing, talking about the dips in the previous bull markets. So if we go all the way back to 2017, you can see that I marked it out on the chart here. We actually dropped around 35% right as the year opened around February. And look what happened afterwards, a crazy pump to the upside. Remember, these dips are perfectly normal for Bitcoin. You're likely suffering a lot more because your portfolio is mostly in altcoins. And I'm here to tell you that this is normal for Bitcoin. And if we look at some other dips that we've seen in the previous bull market, this is a very significant one. Obviously, it's a little bit of an outlier, but a 55% dip before we went ahead and set a new high for Bitcoin. Now, if we take from this bull market specifically, here's another example, a 21.8% dip. We moved higher. Then last year, we saw a 34% dip when we were in that brutal range. It was a period of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We were in that range for 8 months straight before we moved to the upside. So could Bitcoin be establishing its new range? What happens if on the monthly chart, Bitcoin just establishes a little bit of a bullish flag? What would you do then? Could you handle this kind of consolidation before we move higher into the end of the year? When you take an honest look at your portfolio, you seriously have to question that. Here's some dips in previous bull markets. Again, from January, February period in 2016, a 36% dip. Then we saw from the range of March to April, a 27% dip. Another 37% dip in 2017, then another 39% dip, and another 28% dip. If we want to take a look at the dip right now, how low did we go and what is it looking like? Let me just show you on the charts here. So if we take the high all the way around $109,000 to where we are currently, guys, it's a 21% dip. Not even. You have to be prepared for these kinds of dips. We can't just have straight up price action. This is perfectly normal in a bull market. And that's also why, as we discussed several weeks ago, it is possible that we come back down here to 73K, and that would coincide with a 33% dip. Prepare for all outcomes. That is why I have a significant spot position, mainly in Bitcoin, some altcoins here and there, but I have to be honest, my portfolio is 85% Bitcoin at this point. I have a little bit of cash on the side, ready to accumulate on these dips. And in the meantime, I've also been shorting the market, as we've been discussing on the channel, again, over the past few weeks. Don't freak out, zoom out, and look at the bigger picture. This is perfectly normal price action, and you should be prepared for the worst, but also position yourself for the best. Look, I know this was a little bit more of a bearish video, but I had to come out and talk about all of these charts and how things are looking. I'm giving you an objective view on the market, and if you've been following the channel, you know that I've been leaning quite a bit more bearish than other influencers, talking about how we're just going to pump to new all-time highs. The charts tell us what it is. The meme coin market got super frothy, Solana was absolutely cooked, and if we really zoom out, are you that surprised that a local top in the bull market was the President of the United States launching a meme coin? Come on, let's be real. I know a lot of people didn't want to talk about it, but that's just what happened. And the charts are the charts. They tell us exactly what we need to know. Overall, I still am a firm believer that Bitcoin will move much higher this year, but it's just dropping as it normally does in the bull market. The altcoin market is getting absolutely wrecked. Bitcoin dominance continues to increase because of monetary policy, in my honest opinion. And once we see that shift in monetary policy, altcoins will likely start to play catch up, and that will be when we get that famous altcoin season. I know a lot of you probably can't even believe that saying at this point, but I also think that this will happen to a certain extent this year. As always, if you enjoyed the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.